Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley, and Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this, they lob it to him, he taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3, he's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I am Steve Risser, along here with Justin D'Onofrio, and Week 16 is upon us, and we got a huge matchup in the NFC East between the Eagles and the Cowboys. The Eagles come in with one loss. The Cowboys are 10-4. They lost a tough game last week, but the issue for the Eagles is Jalen Hurts is not 100%. He hurt his shoulder in their win on Sunday against the Bears, and I think in this game, I think that's definitely going to affect this game. I don't think the Eagles haven't ruled Hurts out yet, but I don't think he's going to start on Saturday on Christmas Eve. I think it's going to be Gardner Minshew, and it's definitely going to make a difference. I don't think the Eagles will be able to run the ball as well as they usually are, and I do think Minshew's going to have a turnover or two, and that's going to lead to a couple Cowboys scores. And I do think the Cowboys play a pretty good game offensively. I do think they're able to run the ball with Zeke and Pollard. I do think Dak throws a couple touchdown passes, and he doesn't make as many mistakes. I think he's going to be the quarterback in this game that won't make as many mistakes, and that's why that's why I don't think the Eagles clinch the division on Saturday. I think the Cowboys beat the Eagles 27-20. But Justin, can Philly clinch the division and home field advantage on Christmas Eve in Dallas?
I think they have a good chance. I have the Cowboys win this one though, 24-21. For Gardner Minshew, if he starts again, he's a very capable quarterback. He's played well, as a starter and when he's had to fill in. And I know too, yesterday he, delivered the eulogy at Mike Leach's memorial. I know those two are close, so I could see him having a very emotional game Sunday and going out there and playing a really good ball game. I think the Eagles kind of, but like for the Eagles too, it's a different type of game plan because, obviously Jalen Hurts is more of a runner. Now you got Minshew, who's more of a pocket passer. So it's a different type of game plan that they put in for him. But I think Gardner Minshew is capable enough to go out there, give his team, a good shot to win this game. But I do think the way Dallas has kind of looked the last 2 weeks, I think they bounce back at home and find a way to win this week.
Yeah, I think this is a competitive game. I don't think if Hurts plays, I think Dallas loses. I think Dallas definitely loses this game. But with the fact that Hurts is more than likely not going to play, I definitely think Dallas wins this game. I think it's close. I think the Eagles compete, but I just think it's just going to be tough to win in Dallas with a team that is still trying that's still in it to win the NFCs. I know their chances are slim, but they still have a chance to win the NFCs. I think it's gonna be very, very tough for the Eagles to win a game in Dallas without Jalen Hurts.
No, it absolutely could. Dallas tough place to play. I expect the Cowboys to play a lot better. It's going to be a tough environment for the Eagles. They looked pretty good last week, but yeah, it's going to be tough for a Dallas team that's still trying to fight here, still trying to I know there's probably there's not much hope to win division and all that, but yeah, for the Eagles, it's kind of a they just got to win one of these next three here to clinch up a 1 seed. So yeah, they're, I guess, this late in the season, you do kind of worry if some teams kind of maybe pull some of the starters and kind of wait for the playoffs. So yeah, totally, it's one of those games where it could definitely mean more for the Cowboys than the Eagles. But I think the Eagles would love to, wrap up the 1 seed, at Dallas and kind of celebrate on their field.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Now the big question for the Eagles is, should they rest Jalen Hurts until the playoffs? And for me, if he's not 100%, I would do it. You need this guy healthy for the postseason. If you don't, your chances to win the Super Bowl go way down. I know Jalen Hurts, to me, he's not as good as Burrow. To me, he's not as good as Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, or even Aaron Rodgers when healthy. But still, he's he's a top 10 to even top 5 quarterback in this league. And you need him healthy if you're going to make a run to the Super Bowl. So I think if Hurts is not 100%, I'm absolutely resting him until the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you. Maybe week 18, give them a series or two just to maybe shake off some of the rust, because they're not playing. The January, may not be the January 21st they play. So it could be a month, but yeah, other than that, I would wait out to the playoffs. I think they could beat New Orleans next week at home. They could even beat the Giants at home week 18. So yeah, I think they could find a way without Jalen Hurts to win one of these 2 games. I said earlier, Gardner Minshew's a capable backup. He can go out there and either beat the Saints or the Giants if they can't find a way this week. So yeah, I'm with you. I'd rest him in the playoffs, make sure he's 100% healthy.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Because the one thing you don't want is to have him play when he's not 100%, and then he gets hurt, and then you're starting Gardner Minshew in your first playoff game.
Yeah, it would be tough. Again, even though last time the Eagles lost to the quarterback late in the season, they ended out pretty well for them.
We both know that very well, especially you. You know that one very, very well.
Yeah, again, that's still surprising the way I thought that Super Bowl was in the bag. I never thought there was a way Nick Foles can go put up over 400 yards on us in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. And it happened around this time too. It happened around this time where Carson Wentz tore his ACL, and then Nick Foles came in. It didn't look great in the regular season, but then in the playoffs, he played great and it led the Eagles to their first Super Bowl.
Yeah, it did. He went on a nice run there, and yeah, again, that made Nick Foles a lot of money, that off season. So yeah, again, it's possible. I think Gardner's a guy that could go out there, win you a couple in the playoffs. He had to, but yeah, you rather have Jalen Hurts because of that dynamic, ability with his legs as well. Just gives you that different element of defense that you got to plan for.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So we'll move on to a big game in Minnesota this Saturday on Christmas Eve. The NFL playing on Saturday because they're only going to play 3 games on Christmas Day, so most of their slate is on Saturday. But this is a big game for both teams. Both teams come off huge wins. The Giants coming off a huge win in Washington, where Kayvon Thibodeau looked outstanding. He was phenomenal in that game against the Commanders, and then the Vikings. What more can you say about that? Down 33-0, and they come back and win, and that started off a amazing week 15 in the NFL. But in this game, I think this is a close competitive game. But I think the difference in this game is going to be the Vikings skill guys. I do think both running backs are going to have good games. I think Saquon's going to have another big game. I think he's going to have I think he's going to go for over 100 rushing yards. I think that Dalvin Cook's going to have a big game too, because the Giants have a lot of trouble stopping the run. But the difference in this game is going to be the pass catchers of Minnesota versus the pass catchers of the Giants. I do think that Kirk Cousins will throw more touchdown passes than Daniel Jones because because Kirk Cousins has the weapons on offense with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson and TJ Hockenson, and Daniel Jones clearly doesn't, and that's been an issue for the Giants all season. I mean, I think this is a game I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win, but I think this is going to be a tough game because of their lack of skill guys. They're going to have to score more than 13 offensive points to win this game. And I think it's just going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win it, but I think it's going to be a really, really tough game in Minnesota. And I think the Vikings are going to do what they did. I think the Vikings are going to do what they've done all year, win close games. I think they're going to win another one on Christmas Eve. And I got the Vikings beating the Giants 27-23. But Justin, can Jones and Barkley get the Giants closer to clinching a playoff spot?
I think they do. I think I got the Giants 23-20. These two teams are the top two teams in the league when games decided by 7 points or less. The Vikings are 8-0. The Giants are 5-1-1. Again, last week, the way the Vikings again came back, that was, a lot on the Colts and the way they kind of continue to run their offense the last quarter and a half there. But, Daniel Jones has played well in a dome. He's averaging 2 pass touchdowns a game. His passer rating's over 100. I think the Giants, offense moves the ball this week. I think Barkley has another nice game on the ground. And I think the Giants, Thibodeau gets pressure on Kirk Cousins. I think he makes a couple of mistakes in this one. I think the Giants, are able to take, are able to, helps out their offense. They're able to capitalize off of a couple of mistakes. And I think Jones plays well enough. I don't think he makes a ton of mistakes in this game. I think he has one of his better games of the year with the way the Vikings play defensively. And I'll take the Giants to go on the road and find a way to win. I kind of said the last few weeks, I'm not a big Vikings fan. I think there's a lot of flaws with the team. Again, credit to them. They found ways to win, especially last week. But I think the Giants go out there, and I think they find a way to beat the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Kayvon Thibodeau because he was unbelievable. And he was the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, well deserved. Obviously, he had the strip sack for a touchdown. He got the sack, forced the fumble, and then got the touchdown. And then he had that huge play late in the game to stop Taylor Heineke from scoring that touchdown. That was a huge play. And then early in the game, tackling Curtis Samuel in that reverse to knock Washington out of field goal range. So he was unbelievable. That was the guy the Giants took, number 5 overall. And Giant fans are seeing what the future can be with this guy. This guy could be, the next Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, O.C. Manura, or dare I say it, even Lawrence Taylor. This guy's potential to be an outright stud, and you saw that potential on display on last Sunday night. And I think he has another good game this week. But the issue is that they're facing a better quarterback in Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is better than Taylor Heineke, and Minnesota has more skill guys than Washington does. But you made up a good point about the Vikings too. They have, even though they're 11-3, they have been a very unimpressive 11-3 team, winning 10 one-score games, and really defensively they have not been that good defensively. Even though they added some pieces with Za'Darius Smith and Jordan Hicks, their defense is not great. It's below average, and their quarterback is good, but we all know about their quarterback in big games. But the issue with this game though is they're playing him at 1:00, and he plays really, really well in early games. So this should be a close, competitive game. It's weird how you're picking the Giants and I'm not, but
yeah.
But the one thing we know is this game can go either way, but it's going to be close either way. It's going to be a one-score game going to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it absolutely will. Two teams right now that, Giants, last week found a big way to get a win. And talk about Thibodeau. That was a guy you saw at Oregon. That's absolutely, as you mentioned, that's the guy the Giants were, thought they drafted. Has had a quiet rookie year till that game, and again I know he was hurt too, so I think that kind of hurts, kind of hurt some of his development beginning of the year. Ojulari has been great on the other side, and I think that's kind of helped out too.
Good point with Ojulari. Yeah, he had some good. He's been good in all 3 games since he's been back.
Yeah, so both those guys, as you mentioned, it's a very bright future on the defensive line for the Giants. And with the Vikings too, their point differential, it's only 2 points. For 11-3 team,
11-3, and you have a plus 2 point differential. A big reason for that is they've gotten blown out, and they definitely got destroyed in 2 of their 3 losses, and they got beat by double digits in their other loss to the Lions. So plus 2 point differential, and you're 11-3. Yeah,
that's that doesn't happen. I think it's like the worst one since like 2009 or something like that, or for a team like 11-3. So like I don't trust the Vikings too much, and it's going to be a close game, but I'll take Barkley in that offense to find a way against that Vikings defense. And again, I know the last couple weeks up until last week, the Giants defense may have not been able to kind of find, like earlier in the year, find a way to kind of win a game. but maybe they got their mojo back last week and they find a way, at Minnesota. I got to think at some point the Vikings have to lose one of these. And maybe it's this week against the Giants where maybe they got some of the mojo back with that road win last week against Washington.
Absolutely. I definitely could. As a Giants fan, I definitely could. I don't think they're going to win, but I could definitely see them winning. And the Vikings, they've been winning all these close games all year. And you could definitely see this being a week where you thought it'd be last week, but they made that great comeback. But you definitely could see this. This is a week where they could lose. And for the Giants, in terms of the playoffs, all they pretty much have to do, in my opinion, is win if they win one of their next three, they're going to get in. They're going to get in the playoffs because I don't think Seattle's winning out. Looking at their schedule, playing at Kansas City, which I think they're definitely losing that game. They got the Jets at home. That's a 50-50 game, and then they got the Rams. And then if you look at the Commanders' schedule, they got the Commanders have they have the Niners at the Niners this week, the Browns and Cowboys at home. So I think both those teams are going to lose a game. Are definitely going to lose a game, and then if they do, and say the Giants finish 9-7-1, they'll be better than the Seahawks, and if Washington finish 9-7-1, they'll be better than the Commanders because they have the tiebreaker. Yeah,
absolutely. Winning that game was huge for the Giants and their playoff positioning. Because I think KC plays much better than they did last week. Washington, again, I think it's to be very tough to go to San Francisco and win this weekend. So I think the Giants right now are in great position. Again, they should, if they don't win this week, they should be able to beat the Colts next week. And then I guess you hope that the Eagles already clinched that one spot and they rest everybody up and you beat their second stringers you have to. So, I think that the Giants are in a really good position. That was a huge one last week to bounce back after, a couple of weeks where they didn't look very good and they found a way last week. So, they put themselves in great position. And absolutely, the Giants are sitting really pretty right now for a playoff berth.
Absolutely. Now we got to move to some sad news today. We just found out this morning that Franco Harris, the great Steelers running back, has passed away. He was a 9-time Pro Bowler. He was a 4-time Super Bowl champion. He was a 3-time All-Pro. One of the best running backs in NFL history. Passed away this morning, and unfortunately, it's 2 days before the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, which he was a part of that play, one of the biggest plays in the 72 in the 72 division round of the playoffs when the Raiders beat the Steelers. So really, really sad day with the passing of Franco Harris.
Yeah, absolutely. He was, Pittsburgh legend. Was the all-time leading rusher when, at the time of his retirement with over 12,000 yards. So he's a legend. He made an immediate impact when he came to Pittsburgh and won the Rookie of the Year. Crazy that a couple of days before that immaculate catch, and right before they were gonna retire his number, which I was surprised that they didn't already. But he's a Pitt legend. Had a huge kind of on that Steelers dynasty there in the 70s and 80s. Big part of that. So definitely sad news to wake up to this morning.
Absolutely, and the Steelers, ironically. I think this was scheduled by the league because they knew this was close to the Immaculate Reception. They're going to play the Steelers. They're going to play the Raiders at home the day after the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. So on Christmas Eve night, the Raiders play the Steelers. Both teams. This is pretty much an elimination game. Whatever team loses has no playoff shot at all. Both these teams have very, 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 very slim playoff hopes. And I think this is a close competitive game. I was going to take the Raiders, but I think with the emotion in the stadium and how emotional this game is going to be for the Steelers, I think they're going to win it. I think they're going to win it with their defense. I think they'll get enough yards on the ground from Najee Harris. I think whoever plays quarterback, if it's Trubisky or Pickett, won't make a ton of mistakes. And I do think they forced that one turnover from Derek Carr, which I think is going to decide the game. And that's why I got the Steelers beating the Raiders 17-16. But Justin, can the Raiders end the Steelers' slim playoff hopes?
I get the Steelers as well, 2017 at home. I think it's going to be cold pretty much everywhere this weekend. I don't know if the Raiders here on a Sunday night going to be loving playing out in the cold. I think now with all the emotion for the Steelers, with the heartbreaking news this morning, I think they play well. I think their defense makes a big difference. TJ Watt had a big impact last week with the second half. I think they put some pressure on Derek Carr on Saturday night. Whoever plays quarterback, I know, could have Pickett back, but who knows? It's a short week. Trying to maybe get off concussion protocol could be tough. But I think, they find a way to make a big turnover too. Najee Harris does enough on the ground. And I'll take that Pittsburgh defense to get one big stop and knocking off the Raiders this weekend.
We got an AFC match, a big game on Thursday night at the Meadowlands as the Jaguars travel up to MetLife Stadium to face the Jets. And I think in this game, I think that I think it's going to be close and competitive, but I think the difference is going to be the quarterback. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to make as many mistakes as Zach Wilson. I do think the Jaguars, there's a good chance Quentin Williams won't play, so I think they'll be able to run the football. And I think the Jets will do a decent job running the ball. But I think the problem is Zach Wilson. He didn't play terribly last week. A lot of that loss was on Saleh for terrible clock management at the end of that game, taking a timeout, not calling ending the game with one timeout left. That's inexcusable. But I think that it's a close competitive game, and I'm taking the better quarterback here. I think Zach Wilson is going to make a mistake or two that's going to cost the Jets, and that's why I think the Jags go to 7-8, and the Jets also fall to 7-8. And that's why I got the Jags winning this game 23-17. But Justin, can the Jets defense and Zach Wilson keep their playoff hopes alive?
No, I get Jaguars this one 21-17. I think for that Jets defense, they play well. I think it's going to be rainy and windy, so I think as you mentioned, that running game is going to be huge in this one. And the Jets, haven't ran the ball a lot well the last 2 weeks. I think Jaguars making no stops. ETN's got 5 fumbles on the year though. If it's raining, he's got to be able to hold on to that football. The Jags kind of found a way last week to get a big turnover. I think they do, again this week. And I think for them too, you got to kind of contain Wilson in the pocket because he's a much better quarterback when he's outside the pocket, and that's really when he makes plays happen. Because I think there was one when he's in the pocket. I forgot who he threw it to. He spiked the ball as a 5-yard pass. It's just it's like he's got the yips with a close pass, but he throws a deep ball pretty well.
You saw that throw at the end of the game.
Yeah,
you saw that throw to Garrett Wilson too. I mean, he's got a really good arm. He's really athletic. The problem is, when he's in the pocket, he's absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I know that's something at BYU. He was out of the pocket a lot, and I think maybe just trying to maybe find some stuff for him to get outside the pocket and do some things outside of that could help. But it's the number 1 and 2 quarterback from the 2020 class, and they're kind of both going in different directions right now. And then, as you mentioned, talking about that, I just think Trevor Lawrence right now is in a better spot than Zach Wilson. They find a way on the road. They're playing well. I'll take the Jaguars to find a way to get the win.
Yes, I definitely agree with you there. So we got a Christmas Day matchup of one team who has very slim playoff homes, and one team, even though they've lost 3 in a row, there's a very, very good chance of making the playoffs as the Packers travel to Miami to face the Dolphins. And I think the Dolphins offense got back on track last week. I thought Tua had even though they lost, I thought Tua had a really good game. I think he has another really good game this week. I think they run the ball with Raheem Mostert. I think they run the ball for over 100 yards. But I do think that Aaron Rodgers has a good game too. I think it comes down to the end. But I'm going to take the team with more talent, and that's the Miami Dolphins. I got the Dolphins going to 9-6, beating the Packers 31-24. But, Justin, can Aaron Rodgers keep the Packers' slim playoff hopes alive?
I don't think he does this week. I got the Dolphins as well, 24-20. I didn't think they were great last week against the Rams. I know they had a lot of success running the football last week. But they're 2-7 against teams that are 500 or above that. They really have not played well against the top level competition. I think, Rodgers does make some throws in this game against that Miami defense. I just don't think it's enough. I think Miami finds a way to finally bounce back. They did, as you mentioned, they did play pretty well last week at Buffalo. In that weather, I thought, they could very easily get blown out. They didn't. I think they found a way to bounce back. And if you see, there was some frustration there, Rodgers at the end of the game, they're trying to get the ball to Christian Watson. They couldn't. And I'll take the Dolphins at home to get the win on Christmas night.
All righty, we got your team who's trying to bounce back from an absolutely terrible loss last week as the Bengals travel up to Foxborough to face the Patriots. And I do think they keep the Pats keep this game close early. I do think that their defense keeps this game close early, but in the second half, I think the better team is going to show why they're the better team. And I think that Joe Burrow has a big game. I do think Belichick will limit Jamar Chase's production, but Joe Burrow is definitely going to find other guys on that offense to step up for the Bengals. So I think he throws a touchdown pass or two. And I just don't think the Patriots offense is going to can keep up with Joe Burrow. I don't think they're capable of it. I think this offense is not good at all. There has to be a change in the offseason. Who the hell ever told Ramondre Stevenson and Jacoby Myers to start lateraling the ball. That was absolutely terrible. I think it's going to be a rough day for the Pats offense. I think Mac Jones is going to turn the ball over a couple times. And I think the Pats are falling to 7-8. I got the Bengals winning this game 27-14. But Justin, can the Pats D and Mac Jones keep their playoff hopes alive?
Yeah, I don't think so. I got the Bengals 24-17. I think that was a nail in the coffin Sunday. It just, again, the other stuff too is we can't get a play in. It's week 4. It's, week 15. We can't get a play in on time. We look so discombobulated in the red zone. We just, it's pitiful.
Yeah.
Again, if it's Matt Patricia comes back, if I'm Mac Jones, I go to Bill's office and say it's either me or him.
Exactly. You asked to be traded. You can't have Matt Patricia back being the offensive coordinator. That is the number one thing. Is he has got to go. That's got to be the number one thing that happens this offseason. He has got to be gone. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he absolutely does. If he doesn't, it's gonna be a riot up there. Because again, it's just it's just the same stuff's gonna happen this week. The wide receivers, they just don't run great routes. So there's 4 guys right next to each other. It's a big mess, that offense. I know the Bengals out to a slow start, but the Bengals, last week capitalized off some turnovers. I think they get a couple again this week. Patriots don't finish in the red zone. The Bengals will. And I just wonder what that crowd's going to be like. There's just so much frustration. And I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed of Bill's kind of stubbornness. I've really defended him all that, but I'm starting to get tired of the stubbornness here. And it'll be interesting how that crowd is on Saturday. But I'm taking the Bengals. I've kind of lost all hope in this team. Just the way he lost last week. I'm telling you, if they start losing early, you're gonna hear the boo birds very, very early in that game. You're gonna hear the boo birds, and you got to start getting annoyed about Bill's stubbornness. I mean, you've went from in 3 years, you've went from one of the best organizations in the history of sports to an average team. I mean, I know a lot of that has to do with the fact you don't have Tom Brady anymore, but you didn't expect after Tom Brady left for the Patriots to be middle of the pack 3 years later. You thought you didn't think they would be like maybe the favorite to win the Super Bowl, but you would think they would be in the mix. But right now they aren't even close to being in the mix, and they're clearly an average football team. Yeah, they are. You're absolutely right. They're average. And again, I'd rather not make the playoffs. We're just getting slaughtered by Buffalo or KC, whoever's in that 2 spot. It's just gonna be the same story as last year. Yeah, you thought by year 3 they would get this thing going. Again, Colestrain got the good start, but he hasn't been great. Other than that, the draft class has been pretty good. I know Thornton getting hurt, I think hurt him, but I do like the potential of Tyquan Thornton for the next couple of years. I think they've drafted decently the last couple of years, but it's just, again, this is a huge, but we have the most expensive wide receiver room in the league. And it's not that good. The problem is it's not that good at all. I mean, Hunter Henry is average at best. Aguilar's below average. Bourne has been missing in action this year. And you look at you spent all that money 2 years ago, and really the one guy that's helped you, I know he's been great, but the one guy that's been by far the best guy is Matt Judon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been unbelievable. And then that's helped Josh Uche as well. He's been on fire the last couple of weeks. Uche's been good. Yep. Yeah. Jacoby Myers been good. He's a free agent at the end of the year. But again, he's not a number 1. He's been great. Besides that kind of turnover there at the end of the game, he's been really good, but he's not a 1. And that's kind of the problem. They need to find a number 1 wide receiver. They need to find one of these DeAndre Hopkins, Jamar Chase's, Devontae, somebody in that top talent level. They got to find that offseason. They just haven't. And that's why they've been an average football team. And the Bengals will expose that this weekend. Yeah, I mean, going into the offseason, they got to do 2 things. They got to get rid of Patricia. Patricia's got to go, and they got to get Mac Jones a top tier guy. You've seen look at his 2 former teammates at Alabama. They've gotten top tier guys, and they've had and Hurts is an MVP candidate, and Tua has had a really good year. You got to get Mac Jones a top guy. You can't just act like he's Tom Brady and can just figure it out with anyone. Brady's like one of the few quarterbacks in the history of the league that could do that. They got to stop acting like, when we've done it this way for 20 years. We really haven't gotten top tier receivers outside of Randy Moss. You can't do that anymore. You have to get him a top tier receiver. The reason you had all that success, you were able to have all the success you had, is because you had the greatest quarterback of all time. Stop getting in the way of your culture and start getting some talent on this team.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. They have to. Yeah, that's the issue. I think they put too much on Maxwell. They put too much on Mac Jones' shoulder this year. And again, it's just I think he's at a point where the confidence is pretty much gone. With the OC, I'd bring back Bill O'Brien. Again, I think that's the only way you get his confidence back. That was his OC at Alabama. I think, yeah, you mentioned too, you got to go get another top wide receiver. I think that's the only way you could help him. Again, just make I know he wants the DC to be, his son Steve.
Oh, please get the kids off the staff, or don't elevate the kids. That's another issue.
Yeah. So that's why I don't think he gave Patricia the DC job. That's so I'm like, just have him as an analyst or something. Just have him do a position coach. Just do something like that. Don't have him anywhere near this offense next year.
To me, him and Judge just need to be fired. They need to go.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Judge can go back to special teams. That's another one. We need to get rid of that special teams coordinator. He was good in that area.
You can bring Judge back to special teams. That's his only expertise. As I know, that's his only expertise in football is special teams.
Yeah, he's good in that area. Anything else, no, because our special teams hasn't been great either. And that's another Bill Belichick thing. Is our special teams are usually very kind of, they're very usually pretty perfect. It has not been that case this year either. That's another one.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, if this team misses the playoffs, there has got to be changes up there. There's got to be changes.
Heim Bloom may take some of that. It probably helps Bill and that staff that Heim Bloom's been so bad and he's getting absolutely destroyed right now in Boston. But yeah, at some point, the media is gonna start turning on Bill and all them. So. Yeah, very soon because very soon they're not gonna care about the Red Sox anymore. So
no.
There's gonna be a lot of pressure on Bill this offseason. Absolutely, I completely agree with you.
Exactly. So now we got an interconference matchup in Baltimore as the Falcons travel to Baltimore to play the Ravens. We'll see if Lamar's still questionable. We don't know if he's going to play or not, but I don't even care if Tyler Huntley plays this game. I think the Ravens win. I think the Ravens win because of their running game, and I think the Ravens win because of their defense. I think this is a low-scoring game in very, very cold weather that I think the Ravens win, and I think they win at 19-10. But Justin, can the Falcons run the game, carry them to an upset win, and keep their hopes of winning the NFC South alive?
I don't think so. I got the Ravens 21-13. Ritter did not look very good last week. He just didn't really look 100% ready to be out there. And I think Baltimore is going to get a lot of pressure on this week. I think, he's going to make a mistake or two this week. I think that running game could help with Patterson, maybe trying to open things up. But the Ravens have been have been really good against the run. Then as we know, their area has been in the secondary, and I don't think they're going to be able to expose that, especially with the weather too in this one. I think the Ravens find a way to win this one 21-13.
We got a big game in Kansas City as the Seahawks travel to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Another game where it's going to be really, really cold. But this will be a game I feel like that Andy Reid is going to expose that Seahawks run defense. And I think there's going to be a lot of Isaiah Pacheco in this game. I think Pacheco's going to have a big day. I think he's going for over 100 yards. I think Mahomes is going to throw a couple touchdown passes. And I think the other side, I think Geno Smith is going to get behind. I think he's going to continue to struggle. That's why I got the Chiefs winning this game by 2 scores. I got them winning it 31-17. But Justin, can the Seahawks pull an upset and stay in the NFC playoff race?
No, I got the Chiefs as well, 20-17. I think the defense is really going to struggle this week. The Chiefs moved the ball last week at Houston, didn't finish, couple penalties. And I think, and Kansas City's defense, I think this week's going to play a lot better. I think, kind of just beating themselves again last week. They got lucky. They got that turnover there in overtime. But Kenneth Walker last 4 games really struggled to get anything going. I think Geno Smith makes a couple mistakes this week. I think Kansas City gets pressure on them, and I think Kansas City finds a way to win by 2 scores.
We got a big matchup in the NFC, as who would have thought, about a couple months ago, this would be such a big game. But the Lions travel down to Carolina to face the Panthers. And I think in this game, I think that the Lions offense is going to continue to play well. They're going to continue to run the football. I think Jared Goff is going to throw a couple touchdown passes. But I do think that Sam Darnold is going to have another good game too. And I think it's going to be close. But in the end, I'm going to take the team with the better quarterback. And that's why I got the Lions getting closer to that last playoff spot, beating the Panthers 27-20. But Justin, can Darnold lead the Panthers to an upset win and keep their hopes to win the NFC South alive?
I don't think so. I got the lines as well, 24-16. I think Darnold and them, they've been playing, tough loss last week, but Darnold's, hasn't been horrible for him. But again, there's just not a ton of talent on the offense right now. I think their offensive line struggles. Detroit's defense, again, it isn't great, but they are improving a little bit.
They're playing better, and that's been the
Yeah.
big reason why they've gotten hot. I think
Yeah.
because the beginning of the year, their defense was probably the worst in football. The reason they've gotten hot is, yes, the offense has played really well, but also the defense has improved.
Yeah, it has. I got to give Dan Campbell a lot of credit there. I kind of wrote them off at 1-6 and all that, but he's gotten that team to play a lot of good football lately. Yeah, that defense, I think, is good enough, especially against his Panther offense. Yeah, I think Darnold will make a couple plays in this one, but I think they settle for a couple of field goals. And their defense isn't gonna be able to keep up with the Lions, and they find a way to win by 8 points on the road.
We got the Saints traveling up to Cleveland to face the Browns, and I think this is a game where Nick Chubb has a big game on the ground. I think he goes for over 100 yards. I think Watson throws a couple touchdown passes, and I do think the Browns defense forced a couple turnovers from Andy Dalton. I think Dalton's going to have trouble in the cold. I think the Saints are going to have trouble in the cold, and that's why I got the Browns winning this game 20-9. But Justin, can the Saints, just like the Panthers and the Falcons, can the Saints win this game and keep their hopes to win the division alive?
No, I get the Browns as well, 2016. The Browns have been very poor against trying to stop the run, and I think that's going to continue this week. That the weather, I heard they're expecting 32-mile-per-hour gusts. I think it's gonna be a tough day to probably throw the football. Yeah. It's going to be close to below or to zero. It's going to be in single digits. Yeah, I think that's going to be a problem with the Saints. I think the Cleveland's able to control this game on the ground, pretty much like they did last week against the Ravens. I think they were kind of able to do that. If they can get Kamara going, kind of keep this thing close against that Browns defense, they may have a chance. But I think the Saints don't have enough. And I just think because of how bad they've been against a run, that's going to hurt them. And Chubb does enough for the Browns to find a way to get a win this week.
We got an NFC South matchup in Tennessee as the Texans travel to Tennessee to face the Titans. The Texans aren't good, but they've been competitive over the last couple of weeks, almost beating the Cowboys and the Chiefs. I think they're competitive this week. I do think Davis Mills is a pretty good game, but I think the difference maker in this game is going to be Derrick Henry. Henry's going to have another. He owns the Texans, and I think he's going to continue to own the Texans this week. He's going to have a huge game on the ground. Tannehill will throw a couple touchdown passes, and I think their defense makes a stop late, and that's why I think the Titans snap their 4-game losing streak and win this game 24-19. But Justin, can the Texans hand the Titans their 5th straight loss?
No, I get the Titans as well, 20-16. I think they found a way this week. The Titans, for the Texans, it's been back-to-back heartbreaking losses for them. And Henry last time, had 219 rushing yards, and that was with Malik Willis at quarterback. I know Tannehill was questionable this week, if it sounds like he might play, and even if he doesn't, I just think the Titans will be able to run the football. The Texans have been very, one of the worst teams against stopping the run. I think that happens again this week. I think, Willis makes enough plays through the air. And I think for the Texans, just the back-to-back heartbreaking losses, I think they find another way to kind of lose one in tough fashion. I think Tennessee finally gets in the win column once again.
Got the Bills heading out to Chicago to face the Bears, and I think this is a game that the Bills win pretty handedly. I know the weather's going to be tough, so maybe it's close early, but I think the defense forces 2 or 3 turnovers from Justin Fields. I think the offense for the Bills, they're able to score enough points, and that's why I think the Bills win this game and win it pretty convincingly. I got the Bills winning this one 27-10, and Justin, I assume you got the same.
I hit the Bills 23-14. Yeah, I think the Bills, the offense, be able to do pretty much what they want. Yeah, I think, whether they make this thing close. Again, the Bills got to get right. Last couple of weeks, they haven't been great. I know they won kind of a shootout last week against the Dolphins. Kind of big week here to get right. I think for Fields, I think he's be under pressure a lot. I just think with that offensive line and all that, I just, worry, how much longer can he stay healthy with this old line right now? I think the Bills find a way to win 23-14.
We got the Commanders and the Niners this week. We got a big game between those two teams. The Niners, right now, they look like the second best team in the NFC. The Commanders, they had a brutal loss on Sunday night against the Giants, and I think it's good. I think the Commanders are going to lose another one. I think Christian McCaffrey's going to have a pretty good game on the ground. I think Prudy's going to throw a couple touchdown passes. And I think that Niners D is going to force a couple turnovers from Taylor Heineke, and I think turnovers are going to hurt the Commanders again this week. That's why I got the Commanders falling out of the playoff picture. I got the Lions moving in, Commanders falling out. I got the Niners winning this game 24-13. But Justin, can Heineke bounce back this week and keep the Commanders in the 7th spot?
I don't think so. I get the Niners as well, 24-14. I do think it'd be difficult against that Niners defense. They've been playing really well. I think a turnover it's really going to hurt the Commanders this one. I think the Niners are going to get a lot of pressure on Heineke. They got to come out to a fast start though, because in the last 5 games to save for the 49ers in the first half, they've gone up 17-10 twice. They've had a 10-0 lead, a 28-0 lead, and a 14-3 lead. And again, you're not going to be able to come back from behind from that team, especially because if you got to be one-dimensional, their pass rush has been phenomenal. If Washington get out to a fast start, keep this thing close, maybe they do have a chance. But I just think that Niners defense is too tough. I think their offense is going to struggle, and I think they win it. And Hector's comment, the Niners are a real threat to the Eagles in the NFC. Yeah. Absolutely.
Without a doubt. Especially if Hurts is banged up, then they they definitely are a threat. Oh yeah, I think the Niners right now. I wrote an article about it. They're clearly the second best team in the NFC.
Oh yeah, that defense is playing really out of their mind right now. They've really stepped up for kind of the injuries that they've had offensively, and yeah, that's going to be a tough team. If they can get Jimmy G back, and if Hurts is banged up, that's definitely a team that could definitely knock off the Eagles. Even that game's in that game will be in Philly more than likely. I think the Niners can go in there, and I think they could knock them off. Again, they went to Lambeau last year in the snow, knocked them off in the playoffs. I don't think that team's going to be intimidated going to Philly.
No, absolutely not. There's no way. And knowing you said it with the experience they have winning in Green Bay last year, they would not surprise me at all if they won in Philly.
Yeah, it really won it. That team's really good. We know Shanahan's already gotten the Super Bowl, so absolutely that Niners team before Jimmy G got hurt, we were both talking. That's that's right there like the Super Bowl favorites. It's still the way they can run the football and the way they play defense, they still really have a chance because Brock Purdy so far hasn't hurt them. Maybe in the playoffs he does, but if you can get Jimmy G back again, that team's in really good shape.
Oh, absolutely. Now we'll go to the 2 Christmas Day games, and this game was expected to be a big game before the season started, but it is the worst game on the slate in Week 16. And I think in this game, Russell Wilson may or may not start, but I don't think it ends up mattering because I think it's a really low-scoring, ugly game between these two teams. But I'm going to take the home team here. I'm going to take the Rams 20-17. And let me tell you one thing: the NBA is lucky that this is one of their games in the middle of the day on Christmas. So, Justin, who do you got here?
Yeah, I got the Broncos 17-13. I just think with their defense, they find a way. Even if Russell Wilson is a play, I think they get a couple turnovers. I think Latavius Murray does enough on the ground. I think Denver does find a way at LA to get a win get the win on the road.
All righty, we go to the Christmas night game between the Bucks and the Cards, and I know the Bucks are playing terribly. But the Cardinals are playing worse. This is just what the doctor ordered for the Bucks to have a game against the Cardinals without Kyler Murray. And I think their defense forced a couple turns from Colt McCoy. And I do think Tom Brady bounces back this week, throws a couple touchdown passes, and gives the Bucks a commanding lead in that NFC South. All the Bucks really have to do is win this week and win next week, and they're in. But it's just been a struggle all year for them, so I wouldn't be surprised if they lost one of these 2 games. But knowing how terrible this division is, they still at 6-8 should be able to win it, and I think they definitely should be able to win this game on Christmas night.
Yeah, I got them too. I think the Bucks find a way, 21-16. There's a good chance it may be Trace McSorley. He didn't look great on Sunday. I think that could affect him. Yeah, again, the Bucks played a really good first half. They just did not play well in the second. I think the Bucks figure out a way. The Cardinals have 1 win at home all year, and they've lost 8 out of 10. I think the Bucks do find a way. As you meant, good point of just by you. This is what the doctor ordered. A team that's just kind of worse position that they are right now, with all kind of how tough the year has been for the Buccaneers. I do think they find a way out of it. They find a way out of Arizona with a victory.
All righty, so we'll wrap up talking about the Monday night game between the Chargers and the Colts. And the Chargers right now, they're 8-6, and I think they easily go to 9-6. I think that I think that Herbert has a big game. I think they get pressure on Nick Foles, who throws a couple of interceptions. I don't think the Colts are going to recover from what happened on Saturday. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't win a game all season. They don't win a game for the rest of the year after what's happened. And Jeff Saturday will probably be back being an analyst for ESPN. And so I think that Chargers win this. They win it by 3 scores. I got the Chargers 20-7-10. But Justin, can the Colts come back from a horrific loss last Saturday?
I don't think they do. I think I get closer than you. I get 27-21. It's the same thing. I just don't, you know me. I don't trust the Chargers. I really don't. It seems like this is a game where the Chargers may keep them around. I think, things will be tough with the Colts. No Jonathan Taylor, but I think Zach Moss could have a decent game on the ground. How much fight left is in this Colts team. Again, I don't know why Jeff Saturday snapping the ball with there was like 18 seconds. It seemed like on the play clock every time. I just, I have to imagine that he won't be back at ESPN next year because there's no way that guy's getting the full-time job.
Not at all. So the Yankees named their 16th captain in team history. But before we talk about that, we're going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial and Shamrock Home Inspections.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEG's Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEG Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEG Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut.
There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
All righty, the Yankees today name Aaron Judge the captain. This is the 16th captain in team history that the Yankees have had. The last one obviously was Derek Jeter. I mean, he moves into he's a captain with guys. He's with the names of Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Thurman Munson, Ron Guidry, and obviously Derek Jeter. So a huge day for Derek Jeter and for Aaron Judge, and a well-deserved honor for him. And it's something we had figured would happen after they re-signed him a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. He's earned it. He's been a big part of the franchise since he's, got called up. He's been the hometown or the homegrown guy. He's been a leader on and off the field. It was cool to see Jeter there this morning at the press conference. He's been great. Again, had the record-breaking year last year. The huge regular season last year. So it was very well deserved that Aaron Judge to get the captain for the 16th time in team history. It was just when he signed, it was just a matter of kind of when, and they got it done right away, and they named him pretty quickly.
Absolutely, absolutely. It would be huge, huge honor for Aaron Judge, and it's just a great day for the Yankees organization to have another captain and to name a guy like this as the captain because it's well deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been huge for him. Yeah, I know now his mindset now is to go get a couple World Series. Hopefully that does happen. But yeah, he's been a really good on and off the field, as I mentioned. Just somebody that's always kind of stayed out of trouble. Has always kind of stayed out of there's never really been any problems with him off the field. He's kind of embodied the Yankees kind of very well, and yeah, it's definitely been well deserved that he got named captain today.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So there was news on the other side of town, as we all thought last week Correa was going to the Giants, but he fails his physical, and now he's a New York Met as Steve Cohen, 12 years, 312 million, 312 or 315. It's definitely over 315 million dollars. He's going to play third base. Lindor's going to play short. They got Pete Alonso. They got Jeff McNeil. They already signed Brendan Nimmo. This lineup is loaded. They obviously got Verlander and Scherzer at the top of the rotation. You got Diaz as the closer. The Mets right now have all the tools to get to a World Series. They really do. And the big question is to you, are they the favorite to come out of the National League and go to the World Series? To me, I'm still going to go with the two teams out west, with the Dodgers and the Padres. I still go with those two teams out west. Do you think they are the favorite to go to the World Series in the National League?
I think they are now. I got the Mets to do it. I think they got one of the best rotations. They got the kid from Japan, Sigda, if I pronounce it correctly. They need one more guy in the bullpen. I know they've been rumored also getting Liam Hendricks. I know they've been on him. That help out in the bullpen as well. That lineup that they got now is really good. I know there's rumors they may trade James McCann now. That maybe opens a spot for Francisco Alvarez to try to win that job, the young top prospect. But yeah, you upgrade that position. I know Escobar didn't have a horrible year, but now you can put him at DH. You put Correa over at third. Steve Cohen has not been messing around, and you can see he spent all this money and he's expecting to win now. They got all the tools still. Buck. I know we're both a fan of Buck. He's got the best team he's had, and I think this Mets team now. Again, they had 100 wins last year. They were in control of that division all the way up to the end. This team only got better this offseason because they didn't really do much to the lineup until they brought in Correa. That really helps out their lineup. And it's interesting where the physical failed because that guy hasn't been on the IL. Correa hasn't really been in the IL for like the last 3 years. So it's interesting where, if it ever comes out, of where that physical kind of failed.
Yeah, I know. It's Chris. It's an awful couple weeks as a Giants fan. You thought you had Aaron Judge. He doesn't come. You thought you had Carlos Correa. He doesn't come. And on top of that, Rendon signs with the Yankees.
Yeah, it's been rough for the Giants. They said, they were going to go out and spend this offseason and get back in position to contend. But yeah, it's been rough. You've seen the Padres get a bit better. The Dodgers are going to be right there again. So yeah, it's been a really rough offseason for the Giants, and they've struck out on everybody. It's losing Rendon too is a tough one. So yeah, for the Giants, it's looks like they're not going to be any closer next year to being a contender. Looks like a couple years away. We'll see what else they can do this offseason. But yeah, it's been a horrible offseason for the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, it's been absolutely terrible for them. And now going back to the Mets, are they the best team in the NL East? And I think they are. I think it's close between the Braves. It's a brutal division with those three teams, but it's close. But I think with the Braves losing Swanson and the Phillies having Harper out to start the year, I'm going to go with the Mets to win that division.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I think they find a way this time to win it. I think they find a way. I think they're the best out of those three. Yeah, it's a tough division to be a gauntlet. But I think that rotation, they'll figure it out. They'll find a way to win this division.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So now we'll wrap up talking about the Christmas Day slate in the NBA. It usually starts at Madison Square Garden, and this year it's starting at Madison Square Garden as well, as the Sixers travel to MSG to face the Knicks. The Knicks have won 8 in a row. They got the Raptors tonight. I think they win tonight, and I think they win on Christmas. I think the Knicks win on Christmas, win their 10th straight. Everything's coming together for the Knicks with Brunson, with Randall, with Barrett. Thibodeau is a lot of people talked about firing Tom Thibodeau. That's terrible. You can't say that. You can't say that. Tom Thibodeau is the best coach the Knicks have had. I'd say since Jeff Van Gundy. Maybe Mike Woodson, but I'd probably say since Jeff Van Gundy. Thibodeau has done a really, really good job with this team, and I think he continues to. And I think the Knicks get a win on Christmas Day. I think they're getting that win. You agree with me, Justin?
Yeah, I'll take the Knicks. Both teams have been playing pretty well lately. I think they could slow down Joel Embiid down low. I think they got a really good shot. Yeah, Brunson's been a nice pickup. Quickly played pretty well last night. I know Barrett, just averaged around 20 points a game. I think at the Garden, that home crowd, I think they find a way. Find a way. The Phillies offense has kind of been very mediocre this year. Outside of like Embiid, I know Harden was out for a month, but I'll take the Knicks at home. Yeah, they've been on fire lately.
All righty, we got a matchup of one of the greatest basketball players of all time against a player that has the potential to be one of the greatest players of all time. As the Lakers and Mavs face off in the 2:30 game. I think it's going to be a LeBron-Luka duel. I think they're both going to be going back and forth. But I'm going to take the player that's the better player right now. I know LeBron is the second greatest player of all time, but right now you're taking Luka over him. And that's why I got the Mavs winning this game. But Justin, can LeBron outdo Luka on Christmas Day, just like he did 2 years ago?
No, I get the Mavs as well in this one. I got him at the Mavs at home. Luka's been really good. Both teams got out to slow start this year. Kemba Walker, maybe he's that second playmaker that the Mavs need. He's played really well since kind of joining the team. He had 32 the other night, so good to see Kemba healthy. The Lakers are banged up. Davis is going to miss a month. They really have not played well. It's the same problem we talked on last year. They can't shoot the three ball. I think they're worse in the league. They're shooting less than 30%.
And in today's NBA, you got to be able to shoot the three.
Yep, and that's been the problematic for them. They're in Sacramento tonight. Hopefully, the Kings hand them another L tonight. That'd be nice. But yeah, I think right now the Lakers without Davis, I think Dallas finds a way at home to knock them off.
Biggest game of the day. We got the Bucks and Celtics. It should be an exciting one. Arguably, these are definitely the two best teams in the East. You could argue these are the two best teams in the NBA. I think there's a great chance we're going to be seeing these teams around Memorial Day in the conference finals, probably seeing them play a game 7. The biggest thing is where will that game 7 be played, in Milwaukee or Boston? Last year was played in Boston. You saw what happened. So I think this is going to be a close competitive game, and I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with the Celtics to beat the Bucks. But Justin, can Giannis get revenge from what happened last year?
I don't think they will have enough. I get the Celtics as well. I think Tatum's been phenomenal this year. I think the Bucks may have him with interior size down low. But can they take advantage of that? I know Chris Middleton, since coming back, he's kind of struggled shooting the basketball. I know he probably needs to just get a little bit more rhythm. But I just think Malcolm Brogdon was such a great pickup by Brad Stevens in that front office there. They needed somebody consistency to score off the bench. They've gotten that. I'll trust Brogdon and the rest of the Celtics to find a way to outscore the Bucks. Their defense has been great, but I'll take Tatum and company to get a win on Christmas.
Got the Grizzlies and the Warriors. The Warriors will be without Steph Curry. The Warriors have been good, really good at home, terrible on the road, as you saw last night as the Knicks crushed them. They'll be without Steph Curry. I think this game will be close because they're at home, but I'm going with Ja Morant to win this game, and I got the Grizzlies keeping pace with the Pelicans on top of the Western Conference.
Yeah, I got the Grizzlies as well. The Warriors have really been struggling. It's just their defense hasn't been great. Without Curry is obviously tough, and Jordan Poole is we talked about a lot last year, especially in the playoffs. He's a good player, but he's kind of been their go-to guy, their key playmaker, and I just I think it's tough to beat a Memphis team. I know they haven't been playing well, great either. I know that they were in kind of tough start the road trip, losing the last 2 games, but I think Ja Morant finds a way on the road to knock off the Warriors. Yeah, I don't think there's enough there right now. And I just think the Warriors defense is really struggling. I think Morant and company takes advantage of that.
Last game, Suns go out to Denver to beat the Nuggets, to play the Nuggets. And I think this is a close competitive game, but we know what the difference is going to be. The superstar, and that's Nikola Jokic. Jokic has been playing outstanding recently. I think the Nuggets are the team that's going to end up getting the number 1 seed because of how good he is. And they're a championship contender this year because they have Jamal Murray back. I think that he's not great, but I think he definitely makes them a title contender. That's why I got the Nuggets winning this game. Justin, can the Suns pull this upset in Denver on Christmas night?
No, it's tough to play in Denver. Yeah, and I feel like Murray, he hasn't hit that gear yet where we're used to seeing him. Again, maybe it's still just trying to get back from that injury. I know they're probably trying to take it easy with him, but yeah, Jokic he's just he does everything so well. Again, he looks like he's in the running for his third straight MVP. He's been unbelievable. And yeah, Phoenix right now is just so depleted right now with Johnson injury and Jay Crowder kind of sitting out right now with contract stuff. So I just think with that, I think the Nuggets take advantage at home. I think the Nuggets find a way on Christmas night to continue to get that in that quest to get that 1 seed.
Yes, it can be very, very interesting to see what happens there. But that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. For Steve Risser, I'm Justin D'Onofrio. Justin will be away next week, but all will be here. We'll be breaking down Week 17 of the NFL season, and we'll be talking about the college football playoff semifinals. So have a great Christmas, everyone.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field. The problem is, since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees aren't even close to the best organization in baseball.
They're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.